Good evening, all. Low pressure on its way out, leaving after some light showers, clouds, and cooler air. We'll rebound tomorrow, low 60s and some sunshine. And just as you're about to get used to that before the end of your weekend, another round of low pressure gives us shower chances, maybe a little bit cooler air there as well. So an updated forecast, as is always the case, in just a few moments. Headlines tonight will include coverage from, in part, the McGoffin County Board of Education meeting from earlier in the week, Johnson County Board of Education coverage, another educational related report, and some other news and information. Speaking of that other educational report, two teachers from Eastern Kentucky, one of them from the Paintsville area, have been chosen as the Kentucky Innovative Learning Network's Educators of the Year for their innovative teacher cohort. Among those named, there were two from the area, one from Adams Middle School over in Floyd County, that was Miss Amy Newsom, but from Paintsville Elementary, Melanie Ramey was selected as well out of a number of participants in altogether, I think, about 43 or 44 Kentucky member districts. Congratulations, ladies. Board of Education coverage for McGoffin and Johnson County schools in just a few moments. But before that, some big news from App Harvest, and noticed 2 years to the day that was perhaps planned, as they did hold a ceremony today honoring the opening now in Berea of their latest innovative plant. A ceremony held earlier today recognizing the completion and opening of their 15-acre indoor, essentially lettuce farm, salad green farm. 35 million lettuce plants, all growing at any given time, at one time, in that, again, 15-acre facility. It was opened earlier today. Another big addition to the App Harvest family. Because, of course, of their location here in Appalachia, they can reach about 70% of Americans in just a day's drive, and that cuts transportation costs by as much as 80% based to existing growers in other parts of the nation. American production is concentrated largely in California and Arizona for about 90% of U.S. grown leafy greens. These states are in the midst of decades-long droughts and are consuming precious water resources, while here in Central Appalachia and at App Harvest, like the Berea facility, they will be able to have their own water supply with the abundance of rain that we see here in this part of the world. And of course, this is on the heels of the other 2.75 million square foot facility in Moorhead, where they're growing beautiful red ripe tomatoes. And with that report, a quick break. I'll be right back with our first local headline.
Hello, I'm Dr. Cheryl Stalder-Cheney, podiatrist currently located in Sayersville, Kentucky. I've been servicing patients within Eastern Kentucky for the past 20 years.
Our feet are the foundation for everything we do, and whether you're suffering from fractures or injuries, need custom orthotics, diabetic foot care, sports medicine, heel pain, wound care, or anything else foot-related, relief is just one step away.
Welcome to Hope Family Podiatry Center, where we take care of all of your podiatric needs.
Located on the Parkway next to Hope Pediatrics.
Since I've been mayor, the city has built a new garage for the street department to house the equipment that we have invested in. 2 dump trucks, 2 zero-turn mowers, 3 pickups, a salt spreader, snow plow, and so much more, when we literally, honest to goodness, had nothing more than a shovel and a weed eater when I took office. After going to a full-time police force for the first time in history, we bought 5 new vehicles for law enforcement and 5 new vehicles for the fire department, including a 24/7 EMS response vehicle to answer all emergency calls in the city. I believe that when you have an emergency, there is no reason someone with the city shouldn't be the first one there, and we are. We have worked so hard and cleaned up and recovered using every cent available, working with FEMA and the state to get back up and rebuild after the tornado, countless floods, and 2 major ice storms. We made Sayersville citizens a top priority with everything we've had. It took years of lobbying, improving ourselves as a responsible city after the previous administration left the waterworks bankrupt and a day away from shutting down, to not just keep our water turned on, but to improve our water quality to now being among the very best in the state. And we have secured over $1.2 million in funding for the water plant and a new water tank to make it all possible. Then there's almost $1.3 million coming in just a few months to improve Restaurant Row. Over $4.2 million for the Ivy Point project starting right now. and the millions spent on the Mountain Parkway expansion that didn't bypass Sayersville as they had intended. All of which took months and years of planning and dedication and collaboration with Frankfort to become a reality. And perhaps the icing on the cake, the beautification of downtown, the flowers, markers, signage, the groups that we have working together to promote and build our Founders Day and 4th of July celebrations, all of which are unprecedented in Sayersville. And just the overall pride and honor we should all have when we and visitors pass through. My record and my opponent's record stand for themselves, and they are completely opposite. That's why I'm asking, that's why I am imploring that you not just vote for me, but also to not take Sayersville back to where my opponent left it, broke and desperate 11 years ago. That's why it is so important to come out and vote and stand up and say once and for all that Sayersville's had enough of the old self-serving politics of the past. Please come out and vote for your friend Pete Shepard, Mayor of Sayersville. Thank you for listening.
There's just no denying it. Some things you crave all year long, but some of those things you crave even more when the leaves start to change and fall and there's a chill in the air. And our famous fresh-baked chicken pot pies are at the very top of that list. They're a warm, tasty, delicious snack or a meal in its own perfect little box at your Sayersville Lee's Famous Recipe.
Are you tired of the same old cell phone? Want a new phone, but really don't want to pay the hundreds of dollars up front for it? Appalachian Wireless has a deal for you. Get the phone you actually want instead of settling for a cheaper phone with the Appalachian Advantage plan. Instead of paying $600 or more for the best phone, simply pay the taxes up front and then a few bucks a month more on your monthly bill. Stop by your local Appalachian Wireless store or dealer today for more information. It's the better, simpler way to pay. And it's called the Appalachian Advantage because we are you. We are Appalachian Wireless.
Board of Education coverage tonight on a couple of different fronts. As I said a few moments ago, we'll start coverage of the McGoffin County Board of Education meeting. I picked out one discussion therein. You know, long COVID is something that we've been learning about and learning to deal with for a lot of Americans. It, in a different sense, I'm going to say, kind of applies to the Board of Education meeting and attendance rates. What might be new attendance rates for school systems, not just McGoffin counties either, but all from this point going forward. Director of Pupil Personnel Justin Bailey described to the Board of Education and the audience and to you tonight that coming out of COVID, we're seeing a new attendance trend, and it's not a positive one for school districts.
October has been a little bit of a dip for us. And I think part of it is to be expected. We've got fall break in October, which has created 2 short weeks for us, and we always see a decline when we get those short weeks. Kids just sort of take off early, or you get some kids that just miss a whole 3-day week if they're only going to have to go 3 days. So October has saw sort of a decline. We're also starting to see illness in certain pockets of the school. So I'll just give you the numbers. We'll talk about them. You don't want to cut it out. We'll leave that with you. If you look on the side that says 22, 23, the big number that you want to look at is there under ADM. When you go down to the bottom, that is the overall district percentage. And the number is not what we want. It is 88.48 there. That's for the entire school year. And that would include that pocket in August where we really struggled with some attendance rates because of COVID and that outbreak. And then we're starting to see some lower numbers here in October. I was in a cadre with about 15 DPPs on Monday, and across the board, especially in rural eastern Kentucky, these are the numbers everybody is seeing. Everybody has come out of COVID with just a different set of numbers than going into COVID. These are just sort of the figures that are not just what we're experiencing, it's what all rural East Kentucky districts are experiencing. So that's not a positive, but that does sort of let us know that we are not out on an island by ourselves when it comes to having some lower numbers. And really, historically, It's not as low a number as you think. You turn it over, 18-19 data is what we have been using for the last 4 years. And this is the last full semester of 18-19. So this is the data that we're using. So our last semester of 18-19, if you look at our overall district percentage for the last semester, is 88.60. So that number would have been our last semester from the current data that we've been using for the last 4 years. So we're currently at 88.48. So we are really on par historically with some numbers that we have saw in the past. These are just sort of the numbers that we've been dealt with. By no means does that mean this is where we want to stay. And our schools are working, I mean, they're working in the school. The high school has went out to businesses and has got community support, and they're giving away prizes every Friday to perfect attendance students. Our elementary schools are hosting competitions at grade levels, and they're giving out incentives and rewards. Our high school and middle school are meeting with students and parents every single week, along with the CDW. Today, from 9:30 to 2:30, we met with one-on-one conversations with probably 20 students, 10 parents. That's happening every week as we're getting parents and students into one-on-one conversations to talk about truancy. But it's just coming out of COVID. They're saying, and historically, just us as a county, we've got certain truancy issues, but we're trying to tackle them. We're trying to sort of make improvements there, and this is not the number that we want. So we're going to work to make this number rise, but I mean, we're not far off what we have been historically.
More headlines in a moment. Right now, let's see what's happening on tonight's McGoffin Farm Bureau calendar. A couple of seasonal announcements on the calendar as, baking season just around the corner, if it's not already here. And pecans are available for order at the Burning Fork Community Church. 1 pound bags of the freshest pecans, $12 to get yours in time. For baking for the holidays, call Alice Turner at 349-2172 or Miss Margaret Arnott at 422-0145. Pecans by the pound, $12, the Burning Fork Community Church. It all starts tomorrow, noon to 4. They'll be busing the kids to downtown Sagersville over to City Park. I don't know how many businesses and folks are going to be giving out candy. We've got vendors coming to set up and sell concessions, and then it takes a break from 4 to 5:30, and then it ramps right back up from 5:30 to 8. The Ghost Walk is at 6, starting at the Renaissance Center and Thriller downtown. Starts at 8:45 with the high school dance team and all those dancers looking so forward to it. And the weather is going to work out quite nicely. Tell you about that in a minute. And real quickly before I go on, here's me telling you how to get announcements like these, birthdays and anniversaries too, on the show.
As meth, heroin, and fentanyl have literally exploded, there's not a single person hearing this that hasn't seen a family member or friend overdose or die, or hasn't seen their loved ones' meth-covered faces, knowing that their lives are being destroyed by some dealer who could care less. In just the past 8 years, I have taken 400 cases to state and federal courts, and my cases have led to 530 indictments. Every one of these cases have been successfully prosecuted with lengthy prison sentences. Many of my cases were adopted into the federal court system for the purpose of identifying and prosecuting the suppliers bringing this poison into our counties. As a result, we have been able to document well over 1,500 pounds of meth, heroin, and fentanyl that have been stopped from entering into our area. That's the law enforcement I want to bring to McGoffin County. That's the law enforcement we must have in McGoffin County. If we cut it off at the top, the rest will follow. Less thefts and overall crimes, less deaths, and less destroyed lives and families, and fewer children who are being taken out of their homes to be raised somewhere else. On day one, I will utilize my connections with Operation Unite, the DEA, ATF, and FBI, and with federal prosecutors to work jointly to aggressively combat our war on drugs. I have nearly 34 years of extensive training and experience in law enforcement. I'm a retired Kentucky State Police Trooper and held many positions, senior trooper, detective, administrative sergeant, squad sergeant, and detective sergeant at Pikeville and the Drug Enforcement Section. And I am currently the narcotics investigator at the Johnson County Sheriff's Office. State law says anyone can be sheriff with absolutely no training or experience required and do nothing but collect taxes. You only have to win an election. But I know that now more than ever what we need is the exact opposite. A fair, hard-working, understanding, sensible, and most certainly qualified sheriff is what we need. And with your support, I promise to give everyone in McGoffin County exactly that. Please join my efforts and be a part of a positive change and vote for Bill Meade, Republican candidate for McGoffin County Sheriff. Thank you very much.
I'm Bill Tinker. I've spent the past 19 years defending insurance companies in car crashes, truck crashes, and slip and falls. Are you involved in a case like that? Is the insurance company giving you the runaround about your medical bills, your benefits, or your lost wages? Contact me at McFarland Tinker Law Office. With our combined experience of over 58 years, we're here ready to work for you.
I'm Kelly Collins from Golden Law Office. I began my legal career in Lexington, representing some of the nation's largest insurance companies. This experience provided me with the inside knowledge as to how the insurance company will prepare to defend your case. I'm now taking that knowledge and returning to my hometown in Eastern Kentucky to help those hurt through no fault of their own. If you or a family member have been injured in an auto or truck accident, call Golden Law Office today.
Parkway Pharmacy, as always, promises the quickest service with the very best care and prices, and to always have someone there to talk to when you have a question. With 3 pharmacists, curbside, drive-through, and call-ahead service. Parkway Pharmacy in Sagersville, 349-4400.
Where you can always talk to a pharmacist when you need one.
If they had to pick a favorite time of the year at the seasonal shop, this would be it. They love fall and Halloween and all the things they bring. It's the perfect place for spooky and cool t-shirts and earrings to match. And the chilly weather has them ready for sweaters, long dresses, sherpas, scarves, and boots, and so much more. It's all here. The women's fall and winter fashion is gorgeous. They have styles for any event or a cozy day at home. And it is not too early to talk about Christmas. It will be here before you know it, and their elves have already started decorating. It's magical. You could be the gingerbread house queen or king at the seasonal shop. And perhaps most importantly, their open house will be November the 7th through the 12th. So mark your calendars and don't forget to join them for their annual Christmas extravaganza. It's just so much to see and experience. And it's only at Fraser's Prater Drugs Seasonal Shop in downtown Sagersville. Banking from home or on the go has never been easier and will forever be an important and necessary part of life. And Sagersville National has been and will always be at the forefront of meeting and exceeding your financial needs and giving you the safest and most worry-free online and mobile banking so you can worry about the important things, like what's for dinner. They're there when you need them at the main and branch locations of the Sagersville National Bank.
I think this will wrap up local governmental and other meeting coverage for you, if you will, for the month. This being the Johnson County Board of Education meeting from earlier in the week, where finances for the school district, as well as some other topics discussed, being test scores briefly. As for school finances, the black and gold appear to be in the black. And moving on with construction of the new Johnson County High School, CPA Darrell Blair presented his findings before the Johnson County School Board this week for the fiscal year ending June the 30th of 2021 and I believe 2022. Financial highlights, as he called them.
In our opinion, the financial statements referred to above present fairly in all material respects the respective financial position of the governmental activities, the business type activities, each major fund and the aggregate remaining fund information of Johnson County School District as of June 30, 2022. If you would turn over to page number 4. This here is your management discussion analysis. I'll be presenting some of the financial highlights. First, beginning cash balance for the district was $13,312,794 in 2021 and $18,871,192 in 2022. This is an increase of $5,558,398. This difference can be explained by the state grant and construction fund. Second, from 2022 to 2021, total general fund revenue increased by 4.6%. Revenue from the state increased by 37.9%. Revenue from federal sources increased by 103.5%. Revenue from other local revenues increased by 1.2%. Third, among major funds, the general fund had $31.52 million in revenue and about $33.30 million in expenditures. Going down to the bonds on number 5, the district made total debt payments of $3,462,699 during the current fiscal year.
Blair recognizing that for the fiscal year ending in June of 2022, the school had a deficit of $176,000, but that was well explained with their planned construction and pre-construction of the new Johnson Central High School.
A deficit of $176,131. Now, that is the amount that we spent more than what we actually take in for the general fund. But I would like to say, as far as I commend the board for working within our budget, and even though you did spend $176,000 more, you was able to purchase that large piece of property and pay cash for it, which is considered part of this $176,131.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Having none, the board then went on to Miss Butcher, who was on the agenda, to update on recent school tests, acknowledging that all Johnson County schools were in the yellow category, if you will, and that she and other school district personnel were proud of the results of the first round of KSA testing. Testing results that she says puts Johnson Central Schools in a good place for the future.
With that being said, we knew we had a new dashboard coming out, so all levels were yellow. That includes all elementary, middle, and high fell within that color, so that's what the public sees. I'm very proud and pleased with where this was. This puts us in a good place, especially I feel given the pandemic and what we were coming out of. It also places us in a very good place and a realistic place for growth for our students in the future. From this point on, we know we will continue to analyze the KSA data at each school level. We've already started that. That, along with diagnostics that we have here locally, such as iReady and MAP, combined with ongoing formative assessment, should give us plenty of data to diagnose what our students need to ensure further growth. So I like to always think of all of these different things as just one piece of a puzzle, and we put it together. Each of these are different data points, and it shows us exactly what our students need. And by working together and staying consistent, we'll get them where we want them.
And I want you to stay with me because we have a spooktacular forecast and a pretty good one for tomorrow, right after this message or two. Just as quick as one arrives, it feels like the next is already about to begin. And Conley Tire doesn't want you to start any of the driving seasons unprepared. Be safe and sound and get there with the best offers on the best tires by the best manufacturers. All with service you've grown to trust. Go to ConleyTire.net or stop by in Staffordsville to find out more. Or give them a call at 297-2424.
Hello, I'm John Kevin Holbrook, candidate for Circuit Judge in Johnson, Lawrence, and Martin counties. I'm running for Circuit Judge because you, the voters, deserve to decide who is best qualified to be your next Circuit Judge. I was honored to serve you as your District Judge for many years, and I'm ready, willing, and able to serve you as your next Circuit Judge. You deserve to have a candidate with several years of judicial experience for your consideration. You're hiring a Circuit Judge to serve you for the next 8 years, so please give this decision your most careful consideration. I trust your judgment as you have trusted mine. If I'm to consider myself the best candidate, it is because of my experience while serving as your District Judge and since then serving as a Mountain Region Assignment Judge. Additionally, I served as Special Circuit Judge in our counties in 2003. During that time, I effectively fulfilled the duties of Circuit Judge, so I'm most capable of doing it for you for the next 8 years. Thank you, and I trust I've earned your vote by how I've conducted myself and worked for you as your judge.
The reassurance of getting your medications and over-the-counter needs at Sagersville's oldest and most trusted pharmacy, the convenience of curbside pickup and call-ahead service, and the fact that you can walk in, order to go, or sit down and get gourmet quality hot fudge brownies, nachos, shakes, coffees, hot dogs with homemade sauce, desserts, and more makes it more than your hometown Good Neighbor Pharmacy. It's a destination in downtown Sagersville, Frazier's Prater Drugstore. It doesn't get any sweeter than that.
The past 3 years have been like no other time in history. We have had flooding events, ice storms, a 100-year pandemic, emergency service issues, and now we have inflation rising to levels not seen in decades. But in Magoffin County, we don't let adversity get us down. We have steadily moved our county forward, and this is because of you. Because of your faith and trust in me, I have been able to build relationships in Frankfort and in Washington, D.C., placing Magoffin County on the map as an up-and-coming community. Locally, we are continuing to renovate our county-owned buildings, properties, and parks. We now have a state-of-the-art 911 center, and we use every dollar of our road fund to repair and maintain our county roads. But as we all know, there is still so much more work to be done. I pledge to keep pushing for funding to expand water across the county, for economic development, for tourism, and other items to improve our community, as well as continuing to support and honor our local veterans. Again, thank you for your trust and support, and I ask for your vote for another term as Judge Executive so we can keep Magoffin County moving forward.
From there, we'll just talk about some cool air tonight and sunshine returning tomorrow and then hanging around for at least a couple of days.
For the rest of tonight, use this as your gauge. 41 degrees tonight. Winds have been out of the northeast 5 to 15. They're down closer to 5 now, and they'll be becoming calm here in the next little bit. That's very similar to what we'll see tomorrow night, but it will be after a sunny day. So stick your hand out the window right now or your head, and if you're coming to downtown Sagersville tomorrow night, well, that's what you'll need to be in store for and prepared for. I think it's going to be a long sleeve, certainly night, and maybe day for a lot of us. 61 degrees tomorrow, mostly sunny, beautiful, windy early and midday, 5 to 15 miles per hour out of the northeast, and then around 40 again tomorrow night. Not all that bad, clear and calm and nice, and a very fall-like day for a very fall-like bunch of events and festivities going on in Sagersville, starting as early as noon tomorrow and lasting till late tomorrow night. Friday, warmer still, 66, mostly sunny. Nighttime lows again, right around the 40-degree range, a little bit below, but mostly clear skies that night. So a really nice Friday in store. And Friday and Saturday are definitely going to be the winners as far as your weekend is concerned, maybe an early weekend. Saturday, 68, mostly sunny. Nighttime lows are definitely much more comfortable at 48 instead of 38 for your Saturday. But it's Sunday where low pressure, another round, makes its way into the viewing area, and with it, we'll hold on to the 60s, 66 Sunday and Monday, but both days, more clouds than not, mostly cloudy skies. Shower chances really start at about 50% Sunday morning at around 10 a.m., and they just go up to 70 by the end of the afternoon and early evening, and then they linger into your Monday as that low pressure will take its own sweet time getting out of here. And we won't see the sun return in all of its glory until Tuesday. Temperature still holding close to the mid-60s, 64 and 67 for your Tuesday and Wednesday, with the sunshine again making a return.
And, of course, that will do it this time tomorrow. Well, I'm not quite sure what you'll find here on Your News Today. We'll be in the midst of the big spooktacular and everything going on downtown. So just join me and let's see what's happening or getting ready to happen in the downtown area, along with some other news. Good night. Have a good evening, and I hope to see you back here tomorrow. And thanks for watching.